What's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 13 of the Patel and Kumar Show. I'm your host, Shivam Patel, coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. And my co-host, Mr. Kumar, coming to you live from Mumbai, India. Mr. Kumar, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this show today. We're going to have Raptors superfan Bhatia and recent Hall of Fame honoree. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. Cannot wait. We're going to have such a fun conversation. But how are you, Mr. Kumar?
First of all, namaste, everyone, and welcome everyone to the Patel and Kumar NBA talk show. And I'm live here from Mumbai. And as you said, we cannot wait to introduce Bhatia into the show. The fans here are also waiting to see him and talk to him and chat with him because it's no mean feat for the first ever fan to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Let me tell you, it is a great achievement. And, I'm just inching to talk to Bhatia on this show and, get his perspective on what it feels like to be among one of the greats of basketball.
For sure. Everybody sees him on TV, but you're going to be seeing him live here on the Patel and Kumar Show. We're going to be bringing him on in just a few minutes, but let me just do a quick intro. Well, first of all, thank you everybody for joining us today. And please put your chats in the comment section for Bhatia, any questions or comments that you may have. So, of course, Mr. Bhatia is a Raptors super fan. He has not missed a Toronto Raptors home game since 1995. He stays all the way from the beginning all the way to the end. Of course, he got his championship trophy in 2019 when the Raptors won. He's also a businessman, a very successful one. And he's done everything. And, of course, recently honored in the Hall of Fame, the first super fan to do so. So without further ado, Mr. Kumar, let's welcome Bhatia to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the one and only Bhatia to the Patel and Kumar Show. Of course, Mr. Bhatia is repping the Raptors gear. So, Mr. Bhatia, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, and it's a pleasure to join you guys. Namaste and Sat Sri Akal.
Namaste and Sat Sri Akal. I was just telling the fans that it's not a mean achievement what you have done, not only for basketball fans all over the world, but especially for the Indian diaspora overall, because it's such a unique feat that you have achieved. Congratulations to you, sir.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I tell you, God has been good. Nothing happens without God's blessing. So the credit goes to the Almighty, and then to all the fans all around the world who have supported me. And special thanks to Basketball Hall of Fame and also the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum. What a league they are, inclusive league, for giving an opportunity to a guy who doesn't look like a normal, maybe a fan, but here I am now with God's grace in the Hall of Fame.
For sure. So speaking of the Hall of Fame, you were recently honored in Springfield, Massachusetts, was a major accomplishment. So Nav, when did you first find out that you would be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I found out actually last year, 2020, February the 10th. My manager came to me and said that this is what's, I will be in the Hall of Fame. And I thought he was pulling my leg and, making fool of me kind of a thing and all that. But Lord behold, with God's grace, it was true. And then they were going to do this ceremony last year in September,
Yeah.
but because of COVID-19, it kept on postponing, and it happened on the weekend of May 15th.
And of course, I mean, you would always expect a player or a coach or an executive, seeing in the Hall of Fame. But you are the first ever fan to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. How does that feel?
Well, I tell you one thing, I still can't feel it. I was for 3 hours. I was in Hall of Fame on the weekend on May the 15th, and I tell you, I kept on pinching myself. That is this true? That am I among these legends? And especially when they took me to my gallery, they did the ribbon cutting, and I went there and I saw this beautiful gallery, and they had my jersey, Superfan jersey, and then they had my chair where my Raptors A12 seats, which has become very popular in the world. And then my replica of my championship ring was there,
Yeah.
and then my bubble head, and then what I see, my white turban with the red band, which I used during the Golden State run, championship run. It was right there, and I teared up. I started crying,
Yeah.
and I was emotional because here it is, the highest asset of a Sikh is his turban. And
Yeah.
here it is now for the generations and the generations of people to come and watch it. So it's just a amazing feeling. And I just want to let you know, just like when I accepted the championship ring, I said this belongs to all the fans. And I'm saying the same thing, going into the Hall of Fame, being honored there. I'm taking all the Raptors fans, all the basketball fans in with me on there.
That's awesome. You're a man of the people for sure, Dove. And kind of walk us through how did you become a super fan? Like how did this journey all start for you?
I came here to Canada in 1984 after a very tough time, a genocide with the Sikhs against the Sikhs in India in 1984, where thousands of Sikhs were massacred just because they were a Sikh. And so at that time, all the our personal properties, our business properties, they were like killing Sikhs left and right. They were putting burning tires on them. So what we did is at that time we decided as a family to get out of India, and I was the first one to come with my wife to Canada, and I felt safe. I was in the safest country in the world, and then for first 10 years I worked very hard, 100 hours a week, and by 95 I was pretty comfortable financially. I had a nice home, I had a couple of cars, I was the general manager of a dealership, a car dealership, Hyundai dealership. And then when 95 the Raptors came, I bought tickets. I have 13 now. I have Woodside and Platinum. I have 13 now, but that time I could only afford two.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try the game of basketball, which I had seen it on television, and it looked very exciting. So what I did is I bought two tickets, and on the very first day, I fell in love with the game because basketball truly is the fastest game on this planet. It's the most entertaining game on the planet,
Yeah.
and the way NBA has done is it's for 3 hours you are in a different. So, here I am from the first day till 25 years later. I never was late for a game, never left a game early, and
Yeah.
I went to all the games. And in 98, I was given the title of super fan by a jersey presentation by Isaiah Thomas, the Hall of Famer, our president and general manager at that time. And then, life changer. That was a life changer for me. And here, 25 years later, I never missed a home game. I attend every playoff game, and I go a lot of regular season games also.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is a very, very inspiring story, let me tell you. But
Yeah.
I mean, the Raptors, of course, when you started out, they were never considered like, one of the top teams, but you still continued to support them. And finally, the Raptors were able to achieve that maiden title in 2019. So how was, supporting this team, through all the turbulence, from 95 to 2019?
Oh, it was a tough time. I tell you one thing, guys. There were times when there were only 4 or 5,000 people sitting in the arena. There was a time when we were losing by 30 points in the last quarter. But you know what? I'm a Sikh, and Sikhs are the most loyal people on this planet.
Yes.
And once we hold somebody, we don't let it go. I've been, and that's what the Sikhs are known for. And here I am now, 25 years later. I went through a lot of valleys and mountains, but more valleys than mountains. And everybody knows that. But here in 2019, God blessed us with the championship, and I was a part of everything which can not happen to a fan. It happened to me. I was the grand marshal of the parade. I was the got the championship players ring, and which is the first time in the history of sports. And then I got a Hall of Fame ring this last week. And this is an amazing. This is I tell you, loyalty pays off.
Yeah. And not only did you win the championship in 2019, you broke up the Warriors dynasty. The Raptors did. The Warriors completely fell apart, and everybody was so happy. The whole country of Canada, you could see outside Jurassic Park, was behind the Toronto Raptors. So, kind of, Nav, tell us about the special relationship that you have with DeMar DeRozan, of course, who's now with the Spurs, and Kyle Lowry, two all-time greats of the Toronto Raptors.
Well, let me tell you, I just don't have the relationship with DeMar and Kyle Lowry. I have a relationship with every opposing player. I have a relationship with Iverson. I have a relationship with Curry, whom I love and respect a lot. I have I have a relationship with Steve Kerr, the coach. They were the first one to come and congratulate me on the court side after they lost that game. So
Yeah.
such a classy organization. And even Curry telling me, hey, we lost, but I'm so happy for you now that you won, you deserve it. And this, you know what, being a fan and getting so much love from the players like DeMar DeRozan, everybody knows is my little brother. His kids, his two daughters were sort of raised on this during the game. They sat on this on these legs, and we played and we chatted. His wife Kiara was always there with me, so we had a good time. Players like Kyle Lowry, amazing guy, been a great Raptor. Also, Jamar has been a great Raptors, and Jonas Valanciunas, who's playing for Memphis now. These are the players I have a lot of good relationship. Tristan Thompson and all that. Jamal Murray from Denver. But I tell you one thing, DeMar DeRozan is a very special in my heart.
He really is. Before you go,
I knew him when he came from USC, and we drafted him. And I got a call from Brian Colangelo, our general manager and president at the time, said, "Now this kid needs a car. Can you help him out? He's a young guy and all that." So I went and I asked him. He said, "I need an SUV." And I talked to him. This is a very insight. He said, "I want a SUV." So the next day, 7 o'clock in the morning, I had a Range Rover parked in his driveway, and he used the car till his cars came. Usually, the players, when they come, it takes them 4 or 5 months to get a car, from states or wherever they want to get it from. So after 4 months or 5 months, he returned me the car, and he says, "Now, what do I owe you?" And I told him, "Brother, you owe me a hug, and that's it." And he teared up, and that's our relationship started until today. When I went to San Antonio before the game, he came to me and we hugged for 2 minutes, and it was just an amazing. He's done a lot for the Raptors,
Yeah.
and he has done a lot for the Raptors, and I told him that he's part of this championship, and that's
Yeah.
the truth. That's the truth. People like him, people like Coach Casey,
yeah.
Vince Carter,
Yep.
they are
Doing, yep.
all part of this championship, right?
Yep, for sure. And I just wanted to read an audio comment. Shazam Khan is saying, "Nav is such an inspiration. Read his story a couple years ago. His journey made me believe more in this beautiful game."
Yeah.
So thank you, Shazam, Khan,
Thank
for
you.
watching the show and tuning in. So go ahead, Mr. Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know you had this special relationship with D. Roseanne, but I'm sure you have the same kind of relationship with Kyle Lowry. But there was always a speculation that he may get traded, and he was just about to get traded, just a few months ago.
Yeah.
What do you feel? I mean, whether Kyle Lowry should stay in Toronto, or do you think
Entirely up
it's
to
time
Kyle
to move
Lowry.
on?
He has been a great Raptors. He has earned his respect. He's a big part of our championship. He's a big part of our winning culture there. And if he stays, I'll be very grateful to him because he's not just a player on the floor. He's also a coach inside the locker room.
Yes.
And I believe that he should stay. And but if he decides for any reason to go further somewhere else, we respectfully will wish him. I will wish him all the best.
Yeah.
And because I believe in the team, I don't believe in an individual guy. Like when we won the championship, with the Kawhi was a part of the team, and everybody said no, we win the championship as a team.
Yeah.
And so we will wish him all the best if he decides to leave. But I would love for him to stay because he's the journal of the team. Every game he leaves, whatever he has, he leaves it on the floor.
Yeah, he plays as hard as anyone, and he's such a great leader. He plays really aggressive. He's a great teammate for sure. So now there's been some rumors that DeMar DeRozan may team up with Kyle Lowry back in Toronto this summer. So I'm not going to ask you what you think about that, but how awesome would it be to see both of those guys in a Toronto Raptors uniform?
Amazing, amazing. I will hug him the very first time he steps off the airport. I will be there receiving him and giving him the biggest hug ever.
Yeah, and before you go, I wanted to ask now. Of course, the Raptors had to play in Tampa this year, due to the COVID, crisis. So, how eager are you to see the Raptors come back to Toronto this upcoming season in the fall?
Very eager, man. I tell you, this last season, was a disappointed season for us. And, we were playing thousands of miles away. Then we had a lot of players who were affected by COVID. I'm just looking forward for next season, October. I'm stuck. I got stuck at home with my wife watching the game. And that's my let out to go to the arena and enjoy myself. So anyway, I'm looking forward for the fans to be there and every fan. And I believe the players are also looking forward to be playing in front of the fans because we, the Raptors fans, are the best fans in the league, and our Raptor team feeds off the fans.
Absolutely. Coming back to your philanthropy, I know as a foundation in 2018. Can you talk a little bit about that in terms of what work you do and how you're helping the community?
Okay, that's a very important part of my life right now. Yes, I have the game of basketball has given me a lot of entertainment, a lot of love. But for the last 4 or 5 years, we have decided to, use all this towards the community work. And in 4 years ago, 2016, I was asked by a lot of charitable organizations to be a part of them, be their ambassador. But we chose World Vision, a Christian organization, to become a part of them. I'm the only non-Christian guy who is a global ambassador for a Christian organization. And the only reason I did was because, first of all, 85% of their donations go to the project itself, and their projects are amazing. And the project they presented me at that time was in a Faridkot, a poor area in Punjab, where there are 35 schools, but there are no washrooms for girls, and the girls at the age of 11 drop out of school when their period starts, and they drop out and they get married at the age of 12 or 13 and have babies at the age of 15. And I believe that's a crime and a sin. So we wanted to stop that. So we promised them thousands and thousands of dollars to build those washrooms, and with God's grace, we built those, completed the project with 35 schools with 135 washrooms, and now thousands of girls are continuing their education. And now this year, by the end of this year, we are going to announce another project in Alwar with World Vision to do the same thing in a bigger scale.
That's amazing. I hope
Also,
you're able to
also another
continue.
thing. Also, another thing I want to mention that we also build basketball courts in the tough neighborhood here in Canada,
Yeah.
and so that the kids can put their energy on the game of basketball and not in the gangs and drugs.
That's amazing work. I just hope you can continue this work. And of course, you being a super fan, you being now in the Hall of Fame, should get you more mileage, and you're able to help the larger community with much more vigor than what you did earlier. But we have a comment from Soham Gupta who says, I still remember watching Raptors games in 2018 first, and just over time grew to see Nav's face in the stands. Didn't know his name back then, but would try to hunt his face every time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Gupta.
For sure, yeah. You were like a celebrity there. When we'd be watching the game, they would be like showing you, and you would be going crazy cheering on the Raptors. It would be an awesome sight to see. So I have to ask you, Nav, over the. Oh, we have another comment from Shazam saying, "How is Nick Nurse as a person? Really love his style of play."
Well, Nick Nurse, I can. He's a friend of mine. I can say that he's an amazing coach, but he's also an amazing human being, and he's also going to be the coach for our Canada basketball team going
Yeah,
into Japan.
Yeah.
yeah,
So and he's going to be playing with my some amazing kids, like Wiggins and Tristan Thompson and Ke- Ke-
Dylan
Kelly and
Brooks.
Bert and all that. So, he's an amazing guy. He works the community very much. If somebody, kids want to meet him, he makes himself available and all that. And that's what the greatness I find. I look in a player or in a coach when they are willing. Dwayne Casey was amazing also that way. We have been blessed to have some good coaches.
for sure. Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the NBA, and it really shows. With this style of play. So you talked about the Olympics, Nav. I know you're going to be part of the Olympics this summer in Tokyo. So kind of tell us about your involvement with Team Canada.
Well, with Team Canada, I'm the ambassador for Canada basketball team, and I know all the boys and the coaches who are going to be coaching, and I know the president and the CEO Glenn Grunwald has been a friend of mine for the longest. My one goal is now, my bucket list is to win a medal in the Olympic, which Canada hasn't done in a long time, and that's and I believe that we can do it with the
Mhm.
right circumstances because we do have the talent, and hopefully I will be there in Japan along with the team as a organizer.
Yeah, it seems like almost you look at every roster, at least has a couple of Canadians on it. Andrew Wiggins, Tristan Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. There's like a million Canadian players in the league. It's growing, by the every year.
Very
Yep,
true. I
absolutely.
think
Yeah,
very true. And I think we got to thank one player who was a Raptor, Vince Carter 15, who helped all this happen
yeah,
because he brought this revolution here in Canada by having the biggest camps ever for 1 week. And these kids were part of those camps, and then they turned out to be the players. So kudos to Vince Carter, and
yeah.
hopefully one day we can honor it with Canada Order of Canada.
Yes.
Sure. Moving on, of course, we're gonna fly a little away from Canada and move to India. In when NBA had the first ever NBA India games, the exhibition games, you were there in India. How was that experience? Watching the first ever NBA exhibition game in Mumbai.
Yes, thanks to NBA and NBA India for giving me that opportunity to be there as the ambassador of the game. And it was a fun. It was good. I mean, we were having good time. It was good to see all the players. The Indiana team and the Sacramento team. Vivek is an Indian from Mumbai. Who's the owner of Sacramento team and a good friend of mine. And I think it was good to see. And I think with the time to come, basketball is going to grow like crazy in India, and I will do anything I can do in order to make that happen because, like I said, it's the most entertaining the fastest game on this planet.
Yeah.
And once you taste it, once you see it, you fell in love. I did, and so would you when you watch it.
Yeah, we're a little biased, but we also think it's the greatest sport in the world. It has to be. Basketball is a sport for everybody. You know, it's a sport of the people. So when you visited India, you said you could feel the excitement and passion for basketball among the Indian audience. So how have you seen basketball grown over the years in India?
Well, I haven't gone back since then because of COVID, and I'm looking forward once COVID is over to go there, maybe take a legend player there, and and I'm working with NBA and I'm working with NBA India to do something, maybe not this year but next year, and promote basketball there so that kids can play basketball. Reliance, I believe, is helping a lot in India
Yeah.
for the game of basketball, and I think some of the maybe the Bollywood stars have to come aboard it, and then it will become popular because we Indians only follow the Bollywood stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you come here, I'm going to give you another idea. Is we'll have a super fan contest. Let's have like who can become the best super fan in India.
Oh,
In the
that's a good
sport.
idea.
But
That's an amazing
yeah,
idea. We should do that and make sure we reward that person in a good way.
yeah, absolutely. And maybe we can fly him to Toronto to watch one of the games.
Why not? Why
Let's make
not?
it
That's
happen.
again is a good idea. That's a good idea. Of course, I'll
So
be a part of
Manish,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, you work out, and anything which we can do to promote basketball because I do believe basketball brings the world together in a quicker way than anything else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Manish Tripathi says, what a wonderful ambassador for the game of basketball in India. Every Raptor game, we make sure to check Mr. Bhatia is there or not, waving and cheering the players. Thanks, Manish, for your
Thank
comment.
you. Thank you.
And moving on a little bit, just what was your best memory from India during the NBA 2019 games?
That's okay. Your daughter is trying to come. Let her
We have
come.
another fan coming into the
Yeah,
show.
come on, let her come.
She won't be able to hear
She,
because
but she can.
I'm
But
wearing.
I can
Yeah, yeah.
throw a. I can. Yeah, yeah.
Let her
Let her
come.
come. Yeah, let her come.
No,
She can see me
she
at least, and I can see her.
yeah, she does.
Yeah, okay. All right. Hey,
Yeah,
that what was the question? 2019 games in
yeah. Your best memory of those games.
of in India.
Yes.
You know what? I met so many amazing people, and I remember, the kids getting very excited. And I remember one young kid asking me that he couldn't get the ticket because it was sold out. So I remember giving him two tickets, my tickets to him, and he came and I gave him some shoes also, to because he was so much into basketball. He knew so much about me. He knew so much about basketball that I ended up giving him some basketball shoes. And another one was to meet Anil, who's that,
Anil Kapoor.
actor, Anil Kapoor's
Anil
daughter.
Kapoor.
Yeah, her daughter
Sonam Kapoor. Yeah.
with her husband. Amazing people, and he knew so much about basketball. He knew so much about basketball. So I hope with all these people who love the game of basketball, they should come together and help promote, along with NBA India, the game of basketball. And it will be good to see a NBA All Star coming out of India.
Yes,
That's
let's
what would
go.
be beautiful to do.
Yes, for sure. And I know you have to put in a word to make the Toronto Raptors play in the next NBA India games for sure.
I'd love to do that because I think that will be good for NBA India and it will be good for NBA. Yeah,
Absolutely. Now,
I hope that, and maybe you guys have the pull. Maybe the fans can say, "Hey, bring the Raptors," and
Yeah,
I think NBA and the Raptors will listen to that.
we need to start a movement,
yeah,
Mr. Kumar, bring the Raptors to India.
Hey, it takes
yeah.
time. It takes time. So start it now. Start it now. I'm in
Yeah.
for it.
So I think we'll try and start this petition right on the Patel and Kumar NBA talk show
Yes.
with now Bhatia.
Yeah.
Like, let us petition Adam Silver that the next NBA India games we need Toronto Raptors as
I
well as
think,
now Bhatia coming to India.
yeah, don't forget Mark Tatum because Mark Tatum is the in charge of NBA India.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
of
make
course.
sure, yeah, he is the of the. They just started an African league, in a league in Africa
Yes.
also.
Yes, yes.
So make sure that you include both the commissioners there, and let's try. And I'll do whatever I can to make it happen.
Let's make it
No,
happen.
we are not gonna talk to Adam Silver or Mark Tatum. We're gonna talk to now Bhatia, who's gonna talk to Adam
Okay.
Silver and Mark Tatum.
All right. Well, you make sure let them know through the petition that you want that. That's your wish list.
Absolutely,
You have
absolutely.
more power. The fans have more power than this guy alone. Together we can make it happen.
Yes, we'll make it happen. The fans
Absolutely.
will speak. Yes.
That's
Um,
good.
so I have to ask you, over the years, you've met so many celebrities from, Priyanka Chopra to Salman Khan to Dirk Nowitzki to Shaq to Drake to President Obama to Prime Minister Trudeau. I can go on and on, just to name a few. So how is it like meeting all these celebrities at these games?
It's a it's amazing. I'll give you one example. I was meeting President Obama. I was the 10 guys who was picked to meet President Obama. So they do go through all the checkouts and everything, the background and everything. And as I went there and I was there, and he comes and he tells me, "You are the guy who gives hard time to my teams in America. You pick on my teams, you throw the towel." I mean, he knew about it. So that was amazing that the President Obama
Yeah,
knew about that I threw towel and I talked. He said, "You talk a lot of trash to the players." I said, "Yes, I do, but in all in good taste."
for sure. Even Giannis tweeted at you that he missed the free throws because you were distracting him. So you had a direct influence on the game, no?
Yeah, Yanis was, he the reason he wrote because we in the 2019 championship run we lost the first two games, right, in
Yeah,
Milwaukee. So when we came back to Toronto, that was the third game and a very important game for us.
Yes.
So
For
yeah.
I had my vitamin on that day. I had my everything ready to go. And when he came on the free throw, I distracted him with my voice, with my towel and everything. So, he missed few free throws, and even Coach Nurse said, "Hey, now this game you got us." So, and the players did that too. So it's all good. In the end, we all as a team with the fans and the players. And so, yeah, but Giannis tweeted last year
yeah,
that I'm most annoyed by that fan with the turban and beard, the super fan in Toronto.
you were the
So I think
MVP of that
I think
series.
that's a compliment. I think that's a compliment.
It is. You were the MVP of that series. You used your powers to make Giannis miss his free throws.
Yeah, yeah. And
Absolutely.
I told him, I tweeted back at him that, "Hey, Giannis, I love you. You are a excellent athlete. You are the great guy. But for 48 minutes, I have to do what I have to do, and you do what you have to do. And before that and after that, we can break the bread together."
Oh yeah. So talking when you we moved on to Giannis, so let's talk a little bit about what is happening presently in the NBA. Your thoughts and views on the NBA playoffs. Who do you think is going to come out from the East,
There's an
and who do you
excitement.
think?
There's an
The
excitement going
biggest thing
on.
is trash talk still haunts Giannis. Giannis still has nightmares.
Yeah, I don't know. My team is not involved on it. I'm not right there, so I'm not doing any. I'm just watching. I want to watch good basketball and entertain myself, and that's what I'm doing. And watching like a young player from Atlanta, young, and he's amazing. I mean, they're guy. They're coming. They lost last night, but look at that Brooklyn coming along very good, and I'm happy for my friend Sean Marks, who's a very dear friend of mine. He was a Raptors about 25 years ago, and
Yeah.
that his team, and Steve Nash is a Canadian. And he's the coach of Brooklyn Nets. So I think Brooklyn Nets. But then I cannot forget Philadelphia also, which is Doc River is one of my favorite coaches, along
Yeah.
with Sam Cassell. And I love that team also. Harris, Simmons, Emby, all those guys are amazing. So I think it's going to be some fun. It will be, I think, somebody Milwaukee or Philadelphia, or I would say Brooklyn will come out of there. And out of the West, I think uh, you know People thought the Lakers will be on the top. I'm sorry, I'm not going to hurt Patel or Kumar here, but
No, I don't care. Mr. Kumar cares. I don't care who wins if the Lakers come out or not.
uh, well, you change like a what do they call? You change like, man, every time you have a. But here now you're saying today you don't care. The last time I heard that you were cheering for the Raptors, and before that you were cheering for Kawhi. Oh, Kawhi is the guy who got the Raptors the ring, and here now you are a different guy today on the show. But anyway, I think
Last year I was cheering for the Clippers, but this year I haven't formally gave a pick yet. But I think it's going to be the Lakers coming out of the West. But last year, yes, I was for the Clippers. I was for the Clippers last year. Yeah.
yeah, I know your type. People who give a credit to a player. You were on the Kawhi bandwagon, with all due respect. But
No, but the Clippers pulled all the magic disappearing act, so I got off that bandwagon fast.
yeah. Well, right now you are with Lakers today. 2 weeks from now, you might be saying, "Oh, I'm with Portland." So it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm going to wait till or maybe Utah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Mitchell is back. That was an amazing game. He hasn't played for 40 days, but he's back now. So Utah is a strong team also. So is Portland. Let's just see how it happens. And Clippers have something to do in Dallas when they go in front of the Dallas crowd. My
Yeah.
buddy Mark Cuban, a very, very dear friend of mine. I love him so much because he's always on the right side of the cause. And I wish him all the best also. And it was good to see Dirk cheering on his team here in the last game. So it was amazing. I think let's have some fun for a couple of weeks, and then it will become clear that who has it and who doesn't. I won't say that the Lakers are not in it. As long as a guy by the name of LeBron is there, they are in the game, man. They are in the series. I have a lot of love and respect for him. So it's going to be fun. Let's enjoy basketball everywhere and all around the globally. Let's enjoy it. We have a best of best basketball going to be played during the next 3-4 weeks. Let's do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And talking, sorry.
So what is your prediction? Who will win the NBA?
Beg your pardon?
Who will win the NBA championship? What is your prediction? Who is going to take it off?
I think Brooklyn Nets.
All right.
Okay, Brooklyn Nets, I think will win the championship. I think so, but and the MVP, I think out of the MVP out of the championship, I don't know. It could be Durant. It could be, I think it would be probably Durant, and if it's in West, if Utah wins, I think it will be Mitchell.
Okay. And what about
That guy
regular?
can. Huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So what about regular season MVP? Do you think Jokic is going to take it home this year?
It's going to be a close run.
Yeah.
But they're all amazing. They're all amazing. Even to be considered in the same level at that, I think they're all MVPs to me.
Mm. For sure.
Well, absolutely. So I think now Bhatia is picking the Brooklyn Nets to win the championship. But now I have a request. We're going to always come back to you because at some point in time, I want to personally get LeBron James as a guest on this show. So I'm going to hound you till you introduce me to LeBron James.
Okay. All right.
No, but moving on. So let's, have a little bit of fun on the show. We'll move on to the rapid fire section now. So you'll have to have some quick answers. So if you were to miss a Raptors game, under which of these situations would you miss a game? You're called to meet PM Trudeau to discuss Canadian national security, or you're invited by Elon Musk for a commercial space flight, or your wife orders you not to go?
None of them. None of them. I think my Raptors games.
Oh man, for sure. All right. Which superpower would this super fan have? Super speed, immortality, or invisibility?
That's a tough question, man. That's a tough question for me to answer. Uh, I just want to stay as a common guy. I don't need any superpower. God has given me the life like everybody else. I don't need any superpower. If I get a superpower, give me the superpower that I can get rid of the poverty from this earth.
Okay. Your top five Raptors Hall of Fame. It could be player, coach, executive, anybody, but top five Raptors Hall of Fame.
I think Vince Carter.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say even DeMar out of them, because DeMar, let me tell you, for a lot of reasons, DeMar could have gotten more money a year earlier when he signed the contract with us. I don't know if you know or not. He could
Yeah.
have gone to Clippers or somewhere else, but he decided to take less pay and stay here.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry, third one, and then you can also Coach Nurse,
Yeah.
Coach Casey. Casey
Mm.
was amazing to us. So those are the five
Yep.
people who will come, I will say, and
Yes.
maybe include Masai also as the general manager.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Masai,
a great,
Absolutely.
he's the
so
best GM in the NBA. Yeah.
yes, yes. So that's what I would be thinking.
Who is the greatest Raptor of all time? You have between Vince Carter, Kyle Lowry, or DeMar DeRozan. Who would you pick as the greatest Raptor of all time?
Vince Carter.
All right. And Hitesh is saying, I was in sixth grade in 2010. I was in my school bus with one of my friends. Told me that there's a Sardar G who attends a Raptors game. He must be a huge fan. So thank you, Hitesh, for watching the show and for your comment.
Thank you very much for those comments.
And your favorite arena outside of the Jurassic Park?
Uh, It can be Brooklyn Nets arena, and it can be even Philadelphia. Amazing. The fans are so rowdy, and they're amazing. So those are actually, I love a lot of arenas, man. There is a lot of arenas I love. Even Staples Center is amazing. But I would say Brooklyn Nets with the theater lighting and everything is amazing.
Yeah. What about the AT&T Center, Nov? I know you said you went to go attend a Spurs Raptors game when DeMar came back. What about the AT&T Center?
It was amazing. I did go there. Amazing. And like I said, all the arenas are amazing. Once the game starts to me and the entertainment is there, all arenas are good. But you asked me to pick one, and I
Yeah.
picked, the one I feel because of the theater lighting and all that and the way they have done. I love it. I even like the Indiana one. It's a Pacers one. It's such
Yeah.
an amazing old arena, but it's an amazing arena.
Yeah. Which moment was sweeter for you? You being honored in the Hall of Fame or the Raptors winning the title in 2019?
Raptors winning the title in 2019. That
Yeah,
was
no doubt. I think
that was amazing. That was for whole Canada.
Yeah.
There were 3,000 Canadians in that Oracle Arena at the time when we won the championship. And we all had fun for an hour, hour and a half, singing our national anthem and everything. And a lot of stories about that. The last game, I have so many.
how long did the party last for?
All night.
Well,
Weeks.
the party started. Well, a party, you mean in the arena or outside?
No, just after winning the finals, like the players, the coaches, you, of course, the fans.
It went for a month, man, and it was the biggest party on the street. 2.5 million people watching on the street, our parade, and then 7 million people watching on the TV and internet and digitally. So that was the biggest, and not a single incident. Not a single incident. That's what
Wow.
we Canadians do. Not a single disobedience or anything like that. Everybody safe and sound went back. But the party lasted, I think, 4 weeks, 4 weeks after that.
So, what are your hobbies outside of basketball, Nov?
I have no other hobbies other than to watch basketball, to meet the kids, to inspire the kids, to talk to the kids, and give them the hope that if I can do it, they can do it, and they are better equipped. I had so many strikes against me when I first came. They have no strikes against them. They are born Canadian. So I think I have no other particular hobby, just to be, chit chatting with the kids and going to schools and talk to them and all that. So that's my, but basketball, watching basketball is my biggest hobby, and I'm addict of that hobby.
Yeah.
Uh, what advice would you have for an Indian super fan?
Just enjoy the game and be passionate and be loyal to the team, whatever team you are, be loyal to them. That's all.
Yeah.
And love everybody in the league. If there is an Indian league tomorrow, make sure there are 8 teams in it. Make sure you, everybody who is supporting their own city team, support them and support the ballers. Love it, enjoy it, and be a team. That's all. And with watching basketball and being a team player teaches you so much in the personal life, that anytime you see somebody who's down, you pick him or her up without any condition. It's the team which wins the championship. And be passionate. Be passionate about what you're doing. You don't
Yeah.
want to enjoy the game because you want to be the super fan. No, I didn't watch the game on November the 3rd, 1995 to be the super fan. It organically made it. And enjoy your journey and do good to your other humanity on the way, and enjoy it. That's
Yeah. So now you've been able to watch up closely Michael Jordan and LeBron James. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who's the GOAT, MJ or LeBron?
LeBron is very good, but MJ is the GOAT.
Yes. Yes.
MJ is the GOAT.
All right.
I have seen
Okay.
MJ go, MJ go through the air and making those shots which nobody can do it.
Yeah. So now what's next for you? I know you've been honored in the Hall of Fame. Are they going to build a statue outside of the Raptors arena?
Well, I hope it's not my statue first. I hope it's Vince Carter's statue first.
But we need a statue of you. We need to start a petition, Mr. Kumar, to Raptors to put a statue of Mel Bhatia.
Yeah, let them. I'm very blessed, and God is very good that me, as your brother, as your Indian brother, as a Canadian, as a Sikh, I'm the first from the Raptors to be in the Hall of Fame. But this is all God's grace. None of my efforts on that. It's God's grace that they have picked me up, and God is good. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and statue or not, I think I want to start another petition
Mhm.
that we should have a turban day in one of the. He wears a turban and comes to
Yes.
the arena to watch the game.
That's it. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? It happened in Japan. When I went to Japan on the exhibition game in 2019, what did I see? I saw 30, 40 Japanese kids and everybody wearing the turban, my turban, and wearing my jerseys and all that. And I tell you, there was a nicest touching thing for me, and I cried when I saw those Japanese guys and girls and wearing a turban with a beard and all that thing. That was amazing. That was amazing thing, you know. I know the fans,
But it,
Raptors fans, wear the turban or not. I'm in everybody's heart, and everybody prays for me, and I'm grateful to the fans of the Raptors and everybody else who gives me love and praise for me.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we love you too because this is what makes the game exciting. It's just
Yeah.
not the players, because we need fans, we need passionate fans. Because without them, as you saw last year, yes, we did watch the playoff in the bubble, but something was missing.
It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same at all.
It was not exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just saw basketball, but without the fans, this game is absolutely. We are seeing fans come to the stadiums.
Yeah, I was very amazed to see a lot of people sitting in New York yesterday.
Oh my God, Madison Square Garden is popping.
And I've been there so many times. I've been there so many times. That is another very good arena. And but it was good to see that so many people sitting there and watching and enjoying the basketball. But I hope that everybody still is wearing masks. as a precaution. Enjoy the game, but wear the mask. I think it will be. We still need for the time to come to wear mask and take the protection. Let's not be complacent about that. We don't have to do that.
I think that's an important message that you're saying, in order for everybody to stay safe, in order for us to get through this virus. So just a couple more rapid fire questions for you, Nav. What is your favorite Indian food? What is your go-to?
My go-to is Rajma Chawal.
Nice.
I'm not surprised.
All right. Then, oh yeah, we have a question asked. Have you ever come close to missing a live home game?
Oh, don't get me started on that. Yes, I did. I one day about a few years ago, quite a few years ago, I have about 35 kilometers to go from my work to the game. So, I was driving and the games are usually at 7 o'clock. And
Yeah.
traffic on the highway was so much. And I did something very wrong. I knew that I'm going to miss the game. And I decided driving on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I almost made it. And then what do I see? I see a cop, a police car with the sirens on, and I was stopped. And as the police guy comes to me, he's saying, your license? I said, yes. Here's the license. And then he sees it. He says, are you the super fan? I said, yes. He says, you're not Bhatia. I said, yes. He says, you know what? I'm going to let you go today, but next time, don't do that. So he escorted me to the arena, and I made it about a minute or 2 minutes before the tip-off. And
Wow.
my record is still good.
Wow.
So my record would have been messed up, if that guy, the cop, wouldn't have given me that opportunity to be escorted and be in the arena. And I remember the referee telling me at that time, coming to me before the game, he says, we thought that you are missing the game, and I had to maybe delay the game by a couple of minutes. So that was amazing.
Everybody was wondering where you were, and if you weren't there, they had to delay the game for sure.
That's right.
Okay, Mr. Kumar, do you want to ask him our favorite question in the rapid fire?
Yeah, the favorite question. Who do you like better, Mr. Patel or Mr. Kumar?
I think I lost my sound. I think I cannot hear it anymore.
That's what usually happens.
Both of you guys.
No,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. But Nub, you gotta come to San Antonio. We'll eat some good Mexican food. Go to a Spurs game. Go around. You have to come back to San Antonio.
I'm telling you, if the season is back next year and we are allowed, and I'm going to be in San Antonio and watch my boy Demar play there and other things also. I love Coach Popovich. I love that organization. Coach Popovich is the best coach ever. He's an amazing guy, and I'm looking forward the season to open up, and I can. I have to get away from my home, from my wife, so I need to find a way to go on the road and watch some games there and have some fun. I have to make it up for this year.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go to all 82 games next year. All right.
Oh my God, that will be tough. But I'll be a divorced single guy then.
And but thank you so much. As I said, we'll definitely be starting quite a few petitions after the show. Definitely, I want to see you back in India for the next edition of the India Games, and hopefully I can offer you the same hospitality that Mr. Patel has offered to you in San Antonio. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Yes.
Please enjoy, and we want to see you on those Raptors stands forever and ever.
Well, in the end, I want to tell you that I want India to be very safe. Make sure, fight the COVID, help each other, and I just, my mission is not to use basketball to bring the world together, irrespective of gender or faith or color, so make sure, keep me in your prayers. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhatia. It was an honor. It was an honor to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Raptors. Wow, Mr. Kumar, what a fun conversation that we had with Nav Bhatia. We got to hear his journey of being a super fan, of course, with the great work that he's doing in the community in India and in Toronto, bringing all people together through basketball, Mr. Kumar. And what an honor it was to have him as a guest.
Absolutely. It's a truly inspiring story. He came from a very humble background. He became a car salesman. He bought those same car dealerships. He's owning a few now. And then, of course, I think if you think about the Raptors, it's very hard not to think about now Bhatia,
Yep.
And I think the NBA has definitely, taken, this to the next level by actually inducting him into the Hall of Fame. I can be more happier for him and happier for the fans in general, because at the end of the day, the fans and the people watching at home are the ones who make this game, so wonderful.
It is. Thank you, Mr. Bhatia. And yeah, thank you, Bhushan, for watching. Thank you, Patel and Kumar, for getting Nav Bhatia on the show. Well, thank you, everybody, again, for watching. We're not here without the audience, without you audience members. So thank you for supporting me and Mr. Kumar. We have a lot of fun interacting with y'all for sure. So we got a few more minutes left in the show. We have some NBA we're going to get to just real quick, and then some Indian basketball news that Mr. Kumar is going to touch on. But let's get to some quick NBA, Mr. Kumar, just before we end the show. So in the Eastern Conference, of course, we're still in the first round here of the NBA playoffs. The Sixers are up 2-0, on the Washington Wizards. The Nets are also up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics. The Bucks are up 2-0 on the Miami Heat, and the Knicks and the Hawks are tied at 1-1.
Yeah, I think the East is pretty much playing up to expectations, except for the New York Knicks and Atlanta series. Most of the teams are expected to pretty much go on to the next round, which is the Philadelphia, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets. But it's going to be a very tight contest between the New York Knicks and Atlanta. But I think what's more interesting is the Western Conference, because, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. I mean, I think we had our predictions in terms of who's going to make it out of the West, but the field is wide open, Mr. Patel.
It really is. And the most surprising one, of course, is the Mavericks are up 2-0 on the Clippers. Clippers could still come back in that series, but we'll see what's going to happen. The Nuggets and the Portland look, locked up at 1-1. Anything could happen. And the Lakers and the Suns are also at 1-1. Yeah, for sure, the Jazz were able to get, Donovan Mitchell back, and he looked really good last night, Mr. Kumar. He was shooting well. He had his explosion, driving in the basket. So the Jazz are going to be very dangerous with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. It seems like they're coming together and they're playing well. And Hitesh is saying the Clippers are going to win tomorrow. Spoiler. Well, Hitesh, the Clippers need to win 2 games in Dallas. If they don't win 2 games in Dallas, the series is practically over. But there's still a small chance for them to come back, Mr. Kumar, but I think the Mavericks are end up going to win the series.
Okay, so Hitesh says Clippers will lose to the Mavs in 6 games.
I agree.
I think that would be the most tragic story for. They were always expected to go on to win a championship, even last season, and they were, pretty much tutored to come out of the West, even this particular season as well.
Well, this season would be a much more embarrassing.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a massive underachievement by any franchisee, playing in the NBA in terms of, because the ultimate part is that the Clippers don't have any assets at all until 2027. They don't have their own picks. It's going to be a very massive effort. If the team gets dismantled after the season, and there is a high chance that could happen.
It really could. And the most disappointing part about the Clippers is we knew that they were a great defensive team, but they've struggled in 2 years in a row to stop Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is basically picking his matchup, whether it's Patrick Beverley, Paul George, even Kawhi Leonard. He's just completely dominating them, whether with his step back or just getting to the basket. He can get in the lane whenever he wants to, getting to the free throw line. The Clippers' rotations are not there. They're not communicating on the defensive end of the floor. So if the Clippers' offense has actually not been bad. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were not bad at all in the fourth quarter of Game 2, Mr. Kumar.
Yep.
It was not pandemic P. It was their defense that caused them to lose that game.
Actually, see, I think it's more than the defense. I think both teams are shooting extremely well. Of course, the Mavs 54% from three in the last game. I think biggest difference has been the reserves.
Yeah,
If you see, you would always expect a Luka Doncic, Paul George, a Kawhi Leonard, to have superlative performances. But the problem for the Clippers is that Reggie Jackson is really bad. Pat Bev is an offensive liability. Marcus Morris was probably one of the top 3-point shooters during the regular season, and he hasn't really showed up, for the games. And the other hand, for the Mavs, it has been, Finney Smith, Tim Hardaway. All these guys are showing up at the right time and making big plays.
they are. Maxi Kleba. Porzingis has not even come. He's not even playing that well in this series, and Porzingis is going to start getting it going. And they're not. They don't even have JJ Redick. So yeah, Mavs right now look like the better team. Clippers are right now just not playing confidently at all. They look very unsure of themselves. Ty Lue said they're not concerned. He's trying to put the pressure on the Mavericks, but the pressure is 100% on the Clippers, Mr. Kumar. And let's see if they can rise up to the occasion, or is it going to be another dud in the playoffs?
Yeah. So anyway, I think we'll have a lot to discuss, in our next week show. We'll be coming to you live every week now during the
Yeah.
playoffs and the finals. So next week, Thursday, we'll be back live again, but at 7 p.m. India time. But before we move, we have a little bit of news for the Indian fans as well. Good news is that Star Sports is going to show some of these playoff games. And of course, they're going to show all the games of the conference finals and
Nice.
the NBA finals. So at least there's some hope for a lot of these Indian NBA fans to watch the games on.
Yeah, it definitely gives a chance, for these fans to be able to watch the games on Star Sports. Because right now, only in India, if you want to watch the games, it's only on League Pass. So that's awesome that they're able to. Star Sports is going to be there, during the conference finals, and during the finals. And Hintish is saying that the Mavericks are not here to joke. They'll take it all. Luka Doncic is the most hungry player I've seen in a long time. Yeah, Luka Doncic has the Mavericks number, or the Clippers number, excuse me. And he's completely, dominating on both sides of the floor. He can get whatever shot that he wants. He's playing confidently. So Luka Doncic has definitely been, a huge factor, and he's really shown up in the clutch time, in the playoffs. And he puts the Mavs as a chance, to come out of the first round. But Mr. Kumar, I'll let you get back to finishing the Indian news.
Yeah, sorry, there was just a little bit of technical problem. I just got disconnected. So anyway, thank you for all the fans. But last and final news coming out of India is that Asmat Kaur Tong, he was in prep school, has final, which is a Division 3 NCAA, probably the second player to play in the NCAA basketball. The first one being Sanjana Ramesh from Karnataka, who was a guest on our show as well. But she plays Division 1, and of course, Caltech plays in Division 3. But congratulations to Asmat. And
Congratulations.
she used to play, in the youth and junior league for Madhya Pradesh as well as for Maharashtra. So it's a good thing for some basketball players like her. So good luck to her.
Yeah, good luck to her for sure. There's more and more Indian ballers that are coming to the U.S., either in prep schools or in colleges. You love to see it, Mr. Kumar. There's a lot of talent there in India, and they're definitely going to be showcased on the big stage. And we look forward to more Indian ballers continuing to come to the U.S. Well, thank you everybody so much for tuning into this episode of the Patel and Kumar Show. Thank you to Nav Bhatia. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. We enjoyed our conversation. It was a great show. Thank you everybody for putting your chats in the comment section below. Those of you that are asking, we will announce our next Patel and Kumar watch party very soon. We're going to see the matchups, how it goes in the first and second round. But we have a lot more exciting show again next Thursday. We'll be back, Mr. Kumar.
Absolutely. We'll be back next week, Thursday, 8. Of course, because of daylight savings, the timing has changed in the US. So it's going to be 7 p.m. India time on Thursday. I think the 3rd of June.
Yeah.
And be sure to tune in. And of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channels, the Ekalavya's YouTube channel and the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. You can also watch us on Facebook. And of course, do connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at Patel and Kumar.
Yep, and we'll see you everybody next week, 7 p.m. India time. We'll discuss more of the playoffs as we're going to be getting closer to the second round. But until then, me and Mr. Kumar are signing out. Peace.
Peace. Namaste.
Namaste.
So 2 petitions, Raptors coming to India, and we'll have a turban day in the Toronto Raptors home game.
Let's go.